They thought they could wipe me out. But I don't go down that easy. You come after my people.
The Beekeeper 2 is an upcoming American action thriller film directed by Timo Tjahjanto and written by Umair Aleem, serving as the sequel to the 2024 movie, The Beekeeper. The film reunites Jason Statham as Adam Clay, the highly skilled former government assassin known as the Beekeeper, alongside returning cast members Emmy Raver-Lampman as FBI agent Verona Parker, Bobby Naderi as her partner Matt Wiley, Jemma Redgrave as the U.S. President Jessica Danforth, and Jeremy Irons as Wallace Westfield, the ex-CIA director. New additions to the ensemble include Yara Shahidi, Klementieff, and Adam Copeland, though specific plot details are being kept under wraps. Production officially began in September 2025 at Shepperton Studios, with Callan Green as cinematographer, and the film is being produced by Statham and partners under Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Miramax, Punch Palace, and Long Shot Productions. The Beekeeper 2 will be distributed worldwide by Amazon MGM Studios, with a likely release window in late 2026, continuing the story of Clay as he returns to confront new threats following the events of the first film. Jason Statham, an actor who has a clause in his contract stipulating how many punches he can take in movies and that he cannot lose in an on-screen fight, has graduated into playing a character that's a wholly unstoppable killing machine. The man's Mary Sue, if you will. He speaks very little, he fights, murders, and maims a whole lot, and of course, it's all in service of the greater good. Protecting the hive, some might say. Statham's sheer relentlessness and bloodlust in his newest film is empirically comical, yet perhaps it's a matter of ego that he never quite surpasses what could make it a better film. This inane new Statham vehicle, The Beekeeper, directed by Suicide Squad auteur David Ayer and written by Expend 4 Blaise Kurt Wimmer, manages to be moderately stimulating, all things considered, though it suffers from the filmmaker's inability to allow it to be as inane as it clearly should be. The Beekeeper follows Statham's character, Adam Clay, a humble, if stoic and quietly menacing beekeeper who rents space in a lonely old woman's barn out in rural, isolated Springfield, Massachusetts, where he tends to his beehive and gives the woman, Eloise, Phylicia Rashad, some much-needed company. Unbeknownst to her, Clay is a retired operative of a secret, ruthless organization with its claws in just about every aspect of government, known as the Beekeepers. See, Clay isn't just a beekeeper, he's also a beekeeper, a strange way to secretly shed his past life, but nevertheless. I mean, beekeeping is a noble and delicious hobby. Clay embarks upon a self-imposed mission to single-handedly annihilate multiple chains of command when they all lead back to Eloise getting scammed by a fraudulent telemarketing company, whose sole aim is to drain wealthy old people of all their finances. Distraught at what she's done, which includes losing $2 million for a charity account she managed, Eloise tragically takes her own life. Eloise's FBI agent daughter Verona, Emmy Raver-Lampman, finds Clay's sketchy ass, her mother's dead body, and a big jar of honey in her mother's home. Verona immediately suspects Clay, but when she realizes she's got the wrong guy, she frees Clay to go on a rampage and enact his unceasing man-made horrors beyond comprehension. Using his connects at his old job, Clay locates the company branch that scammed Eloise and promptly burns it to the ground. When the boss man, Mickey Garnett, David Witz, and his heavies arrive at Clay's doorstep in the aftermath, Clay eliminates all of them, along with all the fingers on Mickey's hand, before attaching Mickey's body to Clay's pickup truck, sending both of them hurtling off a bridge. He sets a gas station on fire when a former colleague comes to settle the score and sets her on fire too. It becomes clear to the men above Mickey, Nepo baby tech brat Derek Danforth, Josh Hutcherson, great at playing this kind of guy, and his second-in-command Wallace Westfield, Jeremy Irons, who I hope got paid very well, that there is very little to halt the one-man barrage of torment that's coming for them. Meanwhile, Verona and her FBI partner Matt Wiley, Bobby Naderi, try to make some sense of what's happening and who Clay really is, uncovering the truth behind the Beekeeper organization, which no one they speak with wants to talk about. Something about the sacredness of the honeybee and what they have provided for civilizations for thousands of years. That's essentially what the beekeepers do for modern humanity. Clay is a beekeeper gone rogue, enacting his own version of, as I mentioned before, protecting the hive. A slew of bee puns follow suit, all spoken with comical gravity by Statham, who makes it difficult to discern whether he's in on the joke, all completely part of his charm. While Statham's deadly seriousness in tackling the material isn't an issue, it speaks to a bigger problem with the Beekeeper. It's a film with a ludicrous premise that doesn't seem to be in on the joke either, to detrimental effect. This is less about that grating wink-wink, nudge-nudge irony that should be made extinct in pop culture. A film like The Beekeeper can still be sincere while able to embrace its own absurdity. It's a delicate balance that not many films seem able to pull off these days, and The Beekeeper's particular inability to do so only hinders it. You could say something similar about Statham's Giant Shark franchise, too. At one point, Mickey and his heavies destroy Clay's hives and set his bees loose in a frenzied swarm. Naturally, I thought it was meant to foreshadow Clay utilizing his bees as deadly weapons later in the movie. No, it's a one-time occurrence and a completely wasted opportunity. The swarm of bees don't even go after the villains who demolished their home. They simply buzz away into the great beyond. Every great idea that moves an art form forward inspires imitators who swim in its wake, and John Wick has more imitators than most. The second audiences started praising the type of fight choreography that allows the viewer to actually see what's going on. Every action movie treated us to grueling, lengthy combat scenes shot at wide angles with every landed punch in the center of the frame. Others aped bits of the Wick mythos, building worlds of lore for their main characters, often members of secret fighting societies, often retired, and their enemies usually mobsters or hitmen possessed with terrifying knowledge of a certain martial art. The Beekeeper, directed by David Ayer and starring Jason Statham, is the latest of these copycats, posing the intriguing question, what if John Wick but with bees? Statham plays Adam Clay, a quiet, soft-spoken man living in the New England countryside. He keeps to himself but makes an exception for Alois Parker, Phylicia Rashad, an elderly woman who lives in an isolated farmhouse. They share one exposition-laden conversation, but you can tell they're friends. If there's one thing Statham's going to do, it's charm every veteran actress he's cast opposite. Clay keeps bees, housing them in hives on the side of the road and extracting and jarring the honey in Alois's shed. One evening, when delivering a jar of said honey to Alois, after collecting a bunch of bee-killing hornets in a bag and electrocuting them, Clay finds her dead on the floor of her living room, having committed suicide after a shady company conned her out of her savings. Things escalate from here. Gone is the hazy farmhouse, the rolling upstate hills. FBI agent Verona Parker, Emmy Raver-Lampman, is on the case, but her jurisdiction only goes so far. It's up to Clay to go rogue, hunting down those responsible for his friend's death and blowing up their neon-tinged call centers. Shockingly, a beekeeper played by Jason Statham is not just a beekeeper. He was once a capital B beekeeper. A beekeeper? One character asks breathlessly a member of a top-secret organization of special agents that operates above the law when the law is not enough. As you might expect, the rest of the movie is Adam Clay punching and shooting and exploding his way to the top of the fishing conspiracy, taking out goons and sawing fingers off of sniveling phone scammers while grunting lines like, "I protect the hive," and "I'm gonna burn you down." His lengthiest piece of dialogue is a long diatribe about the evils of organizations that financially prey on elderly people, so as far as any viewer is concerned, his actions are completely justified. There's enough over-the-top action and dialogue in the script by Expendable 3's writer Kurt Wimmer to keep things entertaining. There's also a bit of fun world-building. Clay calls in to a headquarters where chat bubbles show up as little honeycomb hexagons, and the way certain characters talk about beekeepers, it's clear they've run up against a formidable foe. When a beekeeper says, "You're gonna die," one character explains, "You're gonna die." Even Statham's everyday beekeeping outfit looks like tactical gear with a tailored fit and a series of buckles on the side reminiscent of body armor. Many things, however, are unclear. How high up in the government do you have to be to know about an organization like this? Is there an international branch, or is it only under American jurisdiction? Are other beekeepers so literal with their recreational pursuits? There's not a ton of room for details. The story bounces between Clay's rampage to Verona's detective work as she toils to uncover the secrets behind Clay's past, while the true villain's a greedy, foul-mouthed tech bro named Derek, Josh Hutcherson, and his protector, former CIA Director Wallace Westfield, Jeremy Irons doing a meaner version of his Alfred Pennyworth, mobilize a defense against the oncoming beekeeper onslaught. Being a David Ayer action movie, the film is mainly concerned with the violent aspects of bees and beekeeping. Clay's obsession with putting the collective above himself at all costs, battles between bees and hornets, and repeated references to a real-world phenomenon wherein a regular worker bee can become a queenslayer to protect the genetic future of her hive. There's not a lot of curiosity about the insects beyond that point, in fact. When one character mentions an interesting bee fact she just read, she's told to pipe down. The bees, as a motif, are functional to a point, like the beekeeper's reliance on the absurdist Wiccan tropes. They're in there because they need to be, according to the current model of action movie-making. That said, it's not a good time if all you want to see is a classic Statham beatdown with flashes of inspired pizzazz. The supporting cast is all good, if a little too heavily reliant on profanity-laden dialogue. We get it. You're all upset. Taylor James of Vikings, Valhalla gets a particularly memorable third-act intro as the most evil South African henchman you've ever seen with frosted tips. At a certain point, so many people are yelling and shooting and punching at each other that it's difficult to remember why they are all mad. And a shocking twist near the end of the film only serves to confuse even more. Where the inner workings of a beehive are ordered chaos, the beekeeper is just chaos, with Jason Statham in a stinger-proof jacket barely holding it all together. Written by Kurt Wimmer and directed by David Ayer, choices are being made that push this movie past just being a revenge flick. Ultimately, it may boil down to Statham's character wanting justice for his friend, but it's the continually expanding scope of this film that had me far more entertained by what was occurring than I expected. In that sense, The Beekeeper ends up feeling like a 90s action movie throwback, specifically. It's the kind of film that tosses around gruff characters for the sake of delivering one-liners, features just enough side characters to appreciate the comedic banter to keep the momentum going, and relies on high enough stakes for a film that's very empty to merely feel like it's about something. On top of this, you still have the action to look forward to. Now, I can't say I've had a ton of admiration for Ayer's work as a director. With that in mind, his better efforts suggest he knows what to do in combining his gritty sensibilities with a sense of place. Fortunately, having Statham to work with means knowing he has an action star familiar with how all this stuff works. Does that mean it's all angled to make Statham look constantly amazing in action? Of course. Is it still effective? Very much so. At 56, still in great shape, even as he wears a scruffier beard compared to his usual 5 o'clock shadow, Statham is entirely at home in the way he's used to being here. Compared to Jackie Chan or Keanu Reeves' work in the John Wick films, Statham is not a guy who's on the defensive or takes hits, but keeps going. He steps ahead of his challengers and rarely takes a hit. That's no different in The Beekeeper, as Clay doesn't even come close to breaking a sweat for much of the film, but still makes the beatings he delivers a lot of fun. Given that Clay has minimal dialogue, the guy is mostly all action. This film delivers a plethora of side characters to explain the plot and crack wise in various ways. There's not much to expand on here beyond making it clear that Josh Hutcherson plays the spoiled, drug-abusing, tech-savvy son of someone important, and Statham is after him. Jeremy Irons is around trying to fix this situation and is given plenty of nice suits to wear while doing so. By contrast, Statham is mostly in civilian clothes compared to his nice suits from the Transporter films, but eventually gets to dress up. Outside the villains, there's a surprisingly good amount of fun between two FBI agents. Emmy Raver-Lampman's Verona Parker, daughter of Rashett's character, whom Statham is trying to avenge, and Bobby Naderi's Matt Wiley provide way more fun than one expects from this film. The two are constantly trading off quips and injecting personality into a movie that too often compensates for its tough guy energy with characters yelling swears as frequently as possible. If anything, one could argue The Beekeeper has issues holding onto a clear tone. It's somewhat serious in presenting the inciting incident and Clay's involvement. There's a dark sense of humor regarding how Clay handles himself in threatening scenarios he goes up against. And then there's the full-on comic book stuff, where other beekeepers are brought in to take on Clay. One particular fight finds Clay at a gas station taking on an enemy dressed as if they just left Comic-Con and brought a minigun with them. Again, this movie is wild. There's an energy to The Beekeeper that keeps the hits coming and the kills brutal, yet the movie is pretty light on its feet. We don't linger too long in any one place, and characters designed to be irritating are generally dispatched quickly after their introduction. Director Ayer, who is typically more confined to a few settings, takes this opportunity to go big and runs with it in inventive enough ways. This is an R-rated feature that's plenty colorful, offers a variety of set pieces, and knows how to let Statham do his thing. One could read into the politics of this film a bit, and do a double take regarding Clay's logic regarding good and bad. But some aspects invite just enough nonsense comparisons to have you realize the film knows it just wants to stick in the middle and entertain its audience. In the end, that's what The Beekeeper accomplishes. It provides the audience with another example of what Statham is good at, while layering a bunch of crazy story ideas on top to keep everyone on their toes. It may not be as sweet as honey, but the buzz is strong enough with this one. We go to Jason Statham films for a few things: brutal beat-downs, cheeky throwback one-liners, and over-the-top, vengeance-fueled action set pieces. In that sense, director David Ayer's The Beekeeper delivers on all accounts. By combining these special ingredients and adding a clean-lined story centered on pummeling scammers, hyper-stylized stunts, and larger world building, the filmmakers gift their picture with the perfect punch. It's also blessedly self-aware, as evidenced by the actor's sincerity when dropping silly bee-themed references, the best being a brawling baddie delivering to be or not to be. Honey, this is unbelievable B-movie glory at its best. Adam Clay Statham is a laconic man living a quiet, uncomplicated life as a beekeeper, tending to his swarms of bees on a remote farm outside of Boston. He also exterminates wasps. It's clear he's a man who's not only struggling with a mysterious past, but also human interaction in general, except for his sweet friendship with his kindly landlady, Alois Parker, Phylisher Rashad. Adam also has a big secret. Years ago, he was an operative for a shadowy government organization whose assassins are called Beekeepers. When Alois invites him up to the house for dinner one random night, he encounters more than he'd ever expect: food burning on the stove and her lifeless body, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot. Earlier that afternoon, he learns, Alois was unwittingly hooked by a phishing virus on her computer, leaving her penniless and panicked. The culprit is Mickey Garnett, David Witz, a detestably douchey tech bro who manages a regional call center, an allegory for a wasp's nest, as the dudes in charge are all literal WSBS. He used Alois's call as teaching tool in a sequence with overt nods to the Wolf of Wall Street to drain her bank accounts. Full of fury, Adam rescinds retirement to literally smoke out these predators, torching their million-dollar building. Yet their hive-like operation is extensive, and Adam's main directive is to extinguish all the busy bees working for the Queen, Jessica Danforth, Jemma Redgrave. This will be difficult with her company's shifty slime balls, spoiled son Derek, Josh Hutcherson, and family friend / head of intelligence Wallace, Jeremy Irons, sending their muscular minions after Adam. Plus, he's being pursued by FBI agent Verona, Emmy Raver-Lampman, who also happens to be Aloysius' drunkard daughter and her partner Wiley, Bobby Naderi. Though inspiration wafts from other bruising actioners, along the lines of Commando. Essentially, Ayer and screenwriter Kurt Wimmer lift directly from the first John Wick's simple outline and transpose it onto their own innovative world. Instead of avenging a dead puppy as the catalyst, the pissed-off protagonist avenges an elderly black woman. Instead of a spoiled, Euro-trash son of a gangster as the initial target, it's a spoiled, Euro-trash-loving son of an influential leader. And instead of an underground criminal network of morally murky mercenaries from which our hero is retired, it's an underground network of government-approved secret agents working towards societal betterment. Once in a while, characters, specifically Verona and Wallace, stop the action to monologue in wildly expository speech dumps about how bees' ecosystems function. Raver-Lampman is able to sell the sincerity a bit more nimbly and naturally than Irons, perhaps because she has the better developed character arc. This elicits cackles of delight from the audience that anyone would go through such trouble to explicitly lay out the connection between the beekeeper's code and work ethic and that of a honey bee. Sure, there are some convoluted and contrived elements, particularly dealing with badass 80s punk assassin Anisette, Meganla, and stealthy CIA director Janet Harwood, Minnie Driver. But it's all in service to the overarching narrative, which is swift, never stale, ferocious, never forgettable. Action set pieces move at a quick pace, each setting their own unique rhythm and character forward momentum. Adam delivers lectures before delivering death. The first cathartic fisticuff shows off a comedic energy, turning the tables by utilizing phones as his physical weapon while a dial tone complements the action. Adam's honey hive barn smackdown is lit in orange and yellow hues and augmented by David Sardi and Jared Michael Fry's musical compositions which, albeit fleetingly, mimic the sound of buzzing. Fight choreography is captivating outside and inside the boiler room of the crown jewel of Derek's data mining empire, managed by Jordan Belfort doppelganger Rico, Enzo Silenti. Though there are absolutely no surprises as to who will triumph in a battle, as most of us have heard of Statham's alleged contractual clauses that he can't lose an on-screen fight. Ayer makes the third act mirrored hallway tussle with lone beekeeper survivor Lazarus Taylor James look and feel as if our hero has met an undefeatable, formidable foe. Despite a few sticky political dealings with Jessica Danforth's character construction, she sneaks cigarettes like Obama. She has a drug-addicted son like right-wing conspiracists pin on Biden, which can't be taken too seriously, even by the most cynical of critics. Ayer and Wimmer give us exactly the right kind of movie to launch our new year. They even keep a running body count for audiences, demonstrating they know what we came here for. It's fun, frivolous, and I sincerely hope it launches a franchise. It's a sting we'll chase until a sequel appears. The Beekeeper opens on the life of a retired old lady, played by Phylicia Rashad, who sees her savings and a series of money intended for charitable initiatives in her account inexplicably go up in smoke after a call from a call center run by hackers and scammers. An event of this kind will push her to an extreme gesture that will not go unnoticed by her particular, silent, and solitary neighbor, Adam Jason Statham, who seems to dedicate his existence exclusively to raising bees. Between them, there was a bond of mutual respect, and understanding the reasons behind the woman's disappearance pushed this beekeeper to vent all his anger directly on those who lived by taking advantage of the weakness of others. Unbeknownst to the cyber scammers, Adam is a former member of a secret American government military group, the Beekeeper. These are not simple soldiers, but real unstoppable war machines trained with the sole purpose of intervening when the hive, a metaphor for the current society, is not in good condition. The enormous preparation of man, fused with a fit of unstoppable anger, will be the main fuel of a narrative with explosive and impetuous tones, in which the concept of good and evil, of black and white, will be continuously put to the test by the actions on the big screen. Former agent of a super-secret organization, the Beekeepers, Adam Clay has retired and is now involved in beekeeping. Tied to his neighbor, the only form of human life he encounters, he also dedicates himself to odd jobs whenever the elderly woman needs it. She is kind to him, she adores his and her honey, and he himself reminds her that she has always been one of the dearest people to him, available, and that she takes care of others as she can. But when the lady is scammed, and all his savings, including the money set aside for a charity, are transferred to a company account, Adam doesn't feel he can sit still. He investigates and discovers that this famous company operates for the sole purpose of zeroing out the accounts of those poor victims it chooses with care, through a virus sent to their computer, a phone call to a fake support call center, and an unhealthy, terrible form of coercion, manipulation, and cyber operations. The company has various offices and mainly targets elderly people, including Mrs. Parker who, realizing what has happened, bitten by guilt and by the clear evidence of being deceived, kills herself. Adam Clay understands and decides that only he can destroy this system, too powerful and now too popular. Society is ready to defend itself, but Adam Clay is neither an ordinary man nor a highly trained agent. He is a beekeeper, and no one has any idea what he is capable of. Adam Clay will reap countless victims, and from one piece of information to another, he will understand that the point of arrival is the body with the greatest power in the United States, the government. Some sequences of The Beekeeper offer something more than others, present in every film of the genre and which we are now all too used to seeing. Worthy of note is the one at the petrol station between Statham's character and another beekeeper, or rather, apparently his replacement. A crackling scene that lasts a few seconds, or rather that perhaps manages to last a minute, and which remains imprinted. The beekeeper who replaced the inscrutable, silent, and square Adam is a classy, elegant figure, who with stiletto heels and machine guns fire relentlessly at anything that moves, and then also at anything in general, making the now former gas station a dilapidated structure made up of countless bullet holes. Her almost demonic laughter accompanies their fight, both with weapons and with what they find wherever they happen. Between shocking pink, glittery clothes, and heavy makeup, the beekeeper is so ruthless and crazy that she appears surreal, but still convincing. It is then the only clash between equals, together with another epic bare-knuckle fight that takes place in the last part of the film. This being alone against all of the protagonists, always unbeatable, capable of knocking out trained soldiers and professional killers, and who often finds himself in 10 while he is always and only one, is not functional. To add verisimilitude, which doesn't hurt in cinema, even action cinema, now and then the beekeeper par excellence could at least show the signs of 2 days of massacres, cruelty, and bloody murders. Leaving aside the suspension of disbelief, The Beekeeper is a film that, not so much for David Ayer, more but for action star Jason Statham, focuses exclusively on action, not on the credibility or depth of the characters. What doesn't make sense and at times annoys is the absence of a moral code. If it is true that someone is spared, it does not concern those who are just following orders, but those who, according to the protagonist's liking, do not deserve to die, with killings always of an extremely brutal and violent nature. However, there are moments and lines of dialogue that suggest that Adam is only interested in destroying those who deserve it, but in practice, this is not the case. This perhaps risks making the character lose a bit of empathy, especially for non-fans of the genre. But for those looking for fun, entertainment, and a bit of panache, The Beekeeper is the right film. Excellent Josh Hutcherson in the role of one of the worst criminals around, in line with the scene that starts it all. A conspiracy made up of very young people with designer clothes, thirsty for money, emptied of any emotion, remorse, or concern, and who only want to see their bank balance increase relentlessly. A moment of great impact, unrelated to the rest of the film, but a situation from which Adam's revenge plan starts. As inhumane and bestial in the total absence of empathy and lust for money, as dramatic towards the victim of this scam who knows no limits and sees the helpless elderly Mrs. Parker, the face of Felicia Rashad, driven to a single tragic solution. Also in the cast is Jeremy Irons, who, needless to say, does his best in any role. Everything is then interspersed with a series of nice interludes made up of sharp jokes between two detectives, respectively played by the star of the Umbrella Academy, Emmy Raver-Lampman, and the actor Bobby Naderi. In Adam's journey, as he fights against the system where everyone is guilty, between exciting ideas for the ingenuity of a man capable of infiltrating everywhere and a few strokes of luck, forgiveness is not an option. With some inattention and a certain implausibility, The Beekeeper is certainly compelling, and both the more expansive moments and the more action-packed ones manage to capture maximum attention. The Beekeeper is a product with which you can never really feel comfortable, even if most of the proceedings are predictable. This is why you certainly don't watch it expecting big twists, along with those borderline absurd situations which, for a film like this, are certainly not a surprise. However, the symbolism of the title and this name that returns are interesting. The Beekeepers, who are not just those infallible assassins, ghosts of a country and a secret special body. Because with Beekeeper, we also mean the beekeeper who is Adam, who takes care of a hive. One of the most hierarchical natural systems that exist is a world that can collapse if you aim for the top, the queen bee. Here, Adam reaches the government, the President of the United States. But if all this wasn't enough to demonstrate that the title couldn't be more successful, bees are the basis of the ecosystem, of agriculture, of civilization, essential for the life of human beings. And just as in a beehive, everything proceeds according to plan without flaws. For Adam, too, the world must go this way, eliminating corruption and crime. And it is up to him to ensure that the hive operates at its best again. Who knows if, for Jason Statham, it isn't the beginning of a journey that will lead him to put things back in their place several times. Adam Clay, therefore, is the classic assassin who has made death a specialization difficult to match. A real means created and conceived by militarist America itself. Something secret, and at the same time difficult to manage, a sort of human advantage over the rest of the planet. What happens, however, when an instrument of this kind completely loses control, continuing to follow the same working standards originally given to it, but deviating from a completely personal reading of reality? The entire narrative of The Beekeeper, based on this, invents absolutely nothing, but rather chooses to play it safe by using a series of models that will be extremely familiar and immediately impactful to lovers of the action genre. The entire fun of the film is supported by the interpretation of Jason Statham, perfectly in part, and capable of transmitting the profoundly negative emotions that fuel his journey, contrasted. However, not by an iconic villain, the character built by Josh Hutcherson annoys but does not leave too much. Or by an antagonist at the same level as him, but by the same system, by that tangle of hypocrisies and rules that tries in every way to stem a seemingly impossible problem, or in any case very difficult to solve. Developing from an event with current and technological references, The Beekeeper shapes its voice through extremely violent action sequences and choreographies, committed to distracting us from the underlying narrative simplicity. Now fueled by body-to-body clashes and blood, and subsequently by firearm, and by a crisis systematically inspired and developed by a single, seemingly implacable man. To crown the narrative, the story of Verona aligns, also suffering from the recent death of her mother, offering us a further side of the question, and also attempting to reflect on a more bureaucratized approach to ongoing action, but still always multifaceted by the human and private of a woman torn about what to do.